So this is why you blew us off last night. We're a little busy.
Well, we had, yeah, last night was busy. We made some roster cuts. That's hard to do. And then we picked up some options on some young players. So if you quote The Godfather, we were settling all our family business and trying to wrap this up. And luckily found a deal that worked for Andrew and us, and we're very excited about it.
How important was it to you and him both to get it done before the regular season started?
I think extremely, and some of that may come from my background in representing players and knowing that each day that you play, not knowing if you're going to get an extension or not, weighs on you. It would weigh on anybody, and we felt like, and mutually felt like that for us, we were either going to do this before the season started or not, and wait until July. And he echoed that and agreed with that, and his representative, David Bauman, was great throughout the process, felt the same way, and it was a good process, great dialogue. Wasn't sure if we were going to be able to reach a deal that worked for them and us, but fortunately we were. We're pretty happy about it.
How important was it to you to get this thing done before the season starts?
Well, today was a deadline, so between myself and my agent David Bauman and Bob and Joe and the organisation, we wanted to get this done by today. If it wasn't done by today, and if talk stalled or whatever happened, we would have put it aside because focusing on the Lakers and the season starting, and didn't want to have that hanging over my head for the season.
I know you talked pretty vocally about liking the direction of the franchise and liking the area here. Are you happy with the numbers that you guys ended up coming up with?
I am. I think on the open market, I could probably get more, but I think we came to an agreement that was fair for both parties. I mean, I had a subpar year numbers-wise, but I feel like I helped the organisation in the first round of the playoffs, and I feel like I'm a leader vocally and defensively on this team. That's my main role. So I think that it's a number that's fair for both parties, and it's an agreement that we're both happy to do.
Do you like having those incentives in there that give you maybe more to work toward, or?
Yeah, of course. You always want to have goals as a professional athlete, and these are I think obtainable for me, and I'll work towards getting those. But first and foremost, I'm not really worried about those incentives. I'm more worried about making sure we build on what we did last season, because obviously being a guy here now for the next 3 years after this year, we need to start building something that we can be successful every season, and we still have a lot more work to do, especially with our subpar preseason.
What's your confidence level that he will stay healthy?
A lot of money. We put a lot of money in believing that he's going to be healthy, which you do with any player. NBA contracts are guaranteed, so every time you pay a player, for the most part, there are some partial guarantees and some non-guaranteed contracts, but in this business you're taking risks on players, whether they've been healthy or not. So we used our analysis, all the things we knew, all the information that was at hand with us to make the decision we did. And size is a scarcity in the NBA, and so we felt like this was somebody that we needed to have going forward to be a successful NBA basketball team. And he's a big piece of our past and recent past success, and hopefully future success. So for us, we were willing to take that risk and think it's a good one.
So the fact that you were willing to talk in the first place meant you were satisfied on the health front?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think if we didn't feel like he was going to be healthy, we probably would have waited. Now, again, we don't have a crystal ball, but we do have information. We do have to make judgment calls. And in this situation, ownership, myself, assistant GMs, Kirk Lacob, Travis Schlenk, decided this was the right thing for the organization if we could get to the right number. And we're hopeful that he would see it the same way we did and realize that for him, getting some security now was better than waiting and playing it out and possibly having more upside. So we were hopeful that he would see it that way. He did, but you never know how a deal is going to shake out. And there's risk. There's risk in anything. So we measured the risk and came out with the thinking of, let's try to get a deal done that we think is digestible from our side and also makes the player feel good. And we think we accomplished both.
He had a line the other day where he said that you guys had checked out every centimeter of his body. Can you give, I don't know how much you can get into that, but how little detail about how far into the medical you guys have gone?
Well, he's well acquainted with the MRI machine, but that goes back, from when we actually traded for him. So Andrew, he showed a commitment to our organization by showing up early. You're well aware of the condition he came in and the shape he came in. And that sent us a message that he's serious about being a part of this organization, serious about getting in shape and doing things the right way. And he's the type of player you want to bet on. I said the same thing about Curry last year. You have to take risks in this business from the front office perspective. And You're never entirely sure how they're going to work out. But for us, he's a character guy. He's a leader on the team. He's about winning. He's a competitor. And those are the type of guys you want to bet on. We feel like him as a starting center for our franchise puts us in a good position. I grew up watching this team when I was 7, 8 years old, and I barely remember Joe Barry-Carroll. I've never seen a center play for this organization besides Andrew Bogut. So that tells you how hard they are. And no offense to Tom Tolbert, who was a Warriors 6'8" center, but really it shows you how hard it is to get one of these guys and keep one of these guys. And to risk losing him to free agency was not something we were willing to do.
Talk about like when you signed the extension, what that felt like in light of the road to get to that point.
I felt great. It was it's been a tough 18 months for my career. I had a lot of crossroads, and I'm just thankful that I put the work in, and my ankle healed the way I was hoping it healed the year before. It finally came out right. So I really appreciate the Warriors, Bob, the coaches, Joe Laker, the owners, that they had the faith to still, give me a contract extension with the subpar year numbers-wise. But, I think that's a reward of trying to battle through the playoffs with injections and so on, and I'm glad they rewarded me for that.
But thinking about just a year ago to where you are now, man, how amazing is it that you're at this place now from where you were a year ago?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it last year. I was in a dark place, and it was a tough point in my career, but I tried to push through it, and I had more bad days than good. But the light was at the end of the tunnel wasn't very bright. And then with a good off season now, and I dropped some weight, and the ankle's feeling great, and I don't have to focus on it every day and talk about it every day. I think we knew this was coming, so I knew that if I came in shape and everything felt good, I'd be good.